Hey guys, it's John on Olympian Exotics here, and I wanted to do a video on how to set up a baby Leachianus gecko or Chahouha gecko, or at least how I like to do it, and that's had a lot of success for me. So as you can see here, this is a 6-quart Sterilite tub. They sell these at Target still. They have these nice latching little purple latches right here to make sure that the guy doesn't pop out or your lid comes off or anything like that. What I have done, let's go ahead and open it up so we can show you. Okay, so once we take this off, you can see I have a screen vent right there, and then we have a screen vent right here. We have a peat moss and perlite mixture of substrate on the bottom, and then I have a fake plant here. Sometimes, especially with the leachies, I'll add cork bark, a little piece of cork bark, so that way they have something to climb on. For this guy, I'm about to add another little piece of cork bark in here. And then you can see there's a little food dish in there. That's pretty much how I do it. And all my leachies and chewies are doing great. I will say this is what I recommend because, especially with the Leachianus geckos, when they are babies, they do not really like a large enclosure. So I found that this is the best solution. I do find that these vents are necessary because you need that airflow so the air doesn't get stagnant. You don't build up bacteria and fungus and stuff like that in there. That helps air exchange quite a bit. What else do I have to say? I do like these larger leaves. They can climb on them when they want to, and they don't get their feet stuck in it. Those tiny little leaves that they sell with Zoomed, I believe. These are Zoomed. Basically, I buy the large, large packages of the foliage, or I don't even know what they call it, fake plants, basically, that they sell at Petco. I think they're about 20 inches long or so, and then I'll chop them up into pieces and set them up in each of the enclosure, in each of these bins like this. Usually I kind of like lean it up so that way they get a little more something to climb on. Sometimes the stuff falls down, and usually I won't keep it quite this wet, but if you get it wet, the nice thing about those vents on the sides is the air is going to evaporate off of there, so you don't really have to worry about getting too wet most of the time. If you're misting every other day or so, then you don't really have to worry about that. What else? The reason I like to have them in these, even though I have them in rack systems, I keep the lids on there because I found that without the lids on there, sometimes they'll stick their tail up right into the little gap right there where the rack would slide, the tub would slide in and out of the rack, and that can pinch their tails, and they drop their tails, and nobody wants their gecko to drop its tail. So pretty much I've just decided to keep the lids on there. That pretty much eliminates the tail droppage, especially if you're keeping them individually. I always recommend keeping them individually. But yeah, so as far as the vents go, these are 2.5-inch circular vents, aluminum. They have these little push tabs on there. You can just use a hole saw, drill a hole right into that on each side, stick the tabs in there, fold it off. I usually use like a razor blade or something like that to like scrape off any excess plastic that might be sharp or just not really particularly pretty. That way you don't have your gecko get hurt on it or anything like that. Then just fold the tabs down, you're good to go. Yeah, so these tubs themselves are about $4 a piece at Target right now. They used to be $2 a piece, so when they were $2 a piece, I think I bought like a couple hundred of them. So obviously the prices of everything have gone up substantially, so they aren't super cheap anymore, but I do feel like they're worth the value. There are other brands that have the latching lids. I really think that you should get the latching lid. They fit a little better, they're a little more snug. You don't have to worry about your gecko getting out. There's some that are just like pop, like they clip on there, they kind of pop on there. I don't like those as much, but I'm sure they could work. It's just my personal preference. I just feel like this is worth it for the extra couple bucks. When you're talking about hundreds of dollars worth of geckos, I feel like a couple bucks on an enclosure that you can use for a very long time is fine. As far as keeping them in here, I have not really had a problem with keeping them in here too long. Obviously, if they get so big that it seems like you should upgrade it, then probably upgrade it. But I would say I would keep them in here till at least 20 grams for leachies. I feel like that's a good number. Then you can upgrade them to maybe a 12-18 Exoterra or something equivalent to that, like a 10-gallon tank would be equivalent. They really like cork bark, so I would definitely get cork bark and put that in there. Chahouhas also like cork bark. They blend in super well into cork bark. Like, it looks like it's built for them. But yeah, beyond that, the peat moss I use and the perlite I use, just make sure it's fertilizer free. You don't want to have any of those unnecessary chemicals in there. And I feel like that's about it. You could use other substrates. This is just my personal preference because I feel like this holds a lot of humidity and it kind of helps them from drying out too quick. Beyond that, I think that's about it. With Chahouhas, I would say probably 15 grams would be a good line. This guy, I think this one probably about 13 or so grams, and you can see it's not like particularly tight in here or anything. Actually, this one's probably maybe 10 grams, something like that. And so I would say maybe 15 grams. Chahouhas don't seem to have as much issue with being upgraded. They are more insectivorous. I can't even say it. So you do usually supplement them with calcium dusted crickets or another insect that's, maybe like a roach, dubia roaches or discoid roaches, something like that would be something good for them. The downside to roaches is they hide really quick. So in this substrate, roaches probably wouldn't work very well because they just bury right into the substrate. So that's why I like crickets, because they're really jumpy and they move around and, they're easy to get pretty much anywhere. So I usually buy 1,000 count boxes of crickets, and every once in a while I'll just treat everybody to crickets. But yeah, just make sure you calcium dust them so that way they get a little extra calcium. Chahouha geckos do have a higher calcium requirement than Leachianus or Leachianus geckos or crested geckos or gargoyle geckos. So especially with the chewies, definitely supplement with calcium powder. Beyond that, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or you have anything that you want me to give you my insight on or anything like that, definitely feel free to comment and ask. I'll try to remember to actually check my comments. I don't post that many videos up on YouTube, but I'm going to try to do a little better with that. Definitely check out olympianexotics.com. I'm actually getting this guy or girl up, as well as a few other chewies. I'm updating weights and putting some new ones up because, it's actually a nice day today. I'd say it's about 70 degrees right now in Florida, even though it's the middle of January. So yesterday was not nice. It was chilly. It was probably in the 40s and 50s. So we got a nice little reprieve. I think it's starting to warm up again for a little bit, so that's nice. But yeah, check out olympianexotics.com. I do have a ton of stuff up on Morph Market as well. My new Facebook business page is Olympian Exotics Plus. My old one got shut down because I don't know why, because Facebook is dumb. And they would not reinstate it, so I had to start a new one. I'm trying to build that back up. So if you haven't liked and followed that page, please go out and do that, because then you'll get to see all my new gecko pictures and snake pictures and reptile pictures in general. And you'll get first dibs on everything, because I usually post it first to Instagram and Facebook. Oh yeah, I should follow my Instagram too. But Instagram and Facebook, then once I get around to it, I'll put it up on the website, Morph Market. So if anybody ever wants to snag something before I get it up on the website, definitely message me or text me and reach out and be like, hey, what's the price on that? And I'll tell you, and then you can potentially get it before anybody else even had a chance to. That's the best way to get it if you really want it. But anyhow, yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe to my channel as well. I'll try to keep posting helpful information on there. And have a great day.